The relationship between Minnesota Fighting Vikings general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and head coach Kevin O'Connell is the buddy cop comedy that we didn't realize that we needed. Like, it's the sitcom that hits right here in the heart, right when we needed it. Just like Ted Lasso, just like Shrinking. Fantastic show, by the way. Yeah, go check that out. But Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi were seen at the NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 round in Louisville, Kentucky. Oh, home of Teddy, by the way. It all comes together. So Kwesi decked out in his Princeton gear. They were taking on the Creighton Blue Jays as well as the Pride of San Diego State. Go Aztecs. Kevin O'Connell there as they took on and took down the 1 seed Alabama Crimson Tide. Roll Tide. And so what's cool here is that, so I assume this is Kevin O'Connell's kid, because it would be awkward if it wasn't, if it was just some random guys. And then Kwesi's like, you couldn't get us tickets together? But I'm sure that they have some pull in their respective athletic departments. But, you know, it was amazing. It was like what are they talking about here? Like, are they joking about Will Levis? Like, this kid knows if they're going to trade up. It's pretty exciting, man. But, of course, like I mentioned, Will Levis's pro day was yesterday as well in the afternoon. And the hop, skip, and a jump from Lexington, University of Kentucky, to Louisville, where the basketball game was. And now there wasn't confirmation that O'Connell or Kwesi were in attendance in Lexington. It's reported that scouts were there at minimum, but it does make sense, especially since Kevin O'Connell was at the Bama Pro Day in Tuscaloosa the day before. So I don't know. I don't know why. But basketball-wise, there was some good and there was some bad news. So good news is San Diego State took down Bama, and it couldn't happen to a nicer program. And then Princeton, 15 seed done good. They fought the good fight, but at the end, the Creighton Blue Jays take it into the Elite Eight. They're the only Iowa team left, which is actually, isn't Creighton Nebraska? Let me look that up. I was correct. Creighton's in Omaha, which is basically Iowa. Anyway, doesn't matter. But what's really cool is it's very clear that Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, like, they like each other, right? And they spend a lot of time together. And it's not just for, the cameras and stuff, although, making a point to make appearances at other Minnesota sports things. I mean, it's cool, but I mean, this thing, like, they didn't have to go. Like, they didn't have to be together. Yes, there was going to be cameras there. Yes, there's a little bit of PR, but it genuinely seems like they like each other. Now, of course, that is not a prerequisite for having a good professional working relationship, right? I mean, Belichick probably doesn't even like his GM, and he is the GM, right? But it is good, especially since these guys were... It's very hyperbolic to say that this relationship between the GM and the head coach is as important as a marriage, and that's certainly hyperbole, but their ability to work together frictionlessly with no egos and make the best decisions for the football team, that affects livelihoods with the coaches and the players and the staff sometimes, and it does affect families. So it is important. Like, even though sports ball at the end of the day is pretty silly, these are important things because it affects families, it affects income, it affects everything. So the fact that these two are getting along together, it's great. And also, the fact that, so Kwesi, it wasn't 100% Kwesi's call to hire Kevin O'Connell, but Kwesi was part of the ownership decision to hire KOC. But the whole thing is that, hey, we're going to be working together like 16, 17, 18-hour days for the bulk of the year. So hopefully we get along. That whole thing, because we've seen what happens when it goes the other direction. Yeah. But it does seem like the Vikings have a great combination. Oh, speaking of Ted Lasso, they do have a great combination at head coach and general manager. Now, let's translate that into a great draft and improve on the 13-win season. Ask PJ Fleck, hey, how's Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi's relationship? Elite, because they're rowing the boat. That's right, man. But again, cool to see, and hopefully they're talking about Will Levis. It's like at a certain point, like, I don't care. Just gamble big on a quarterback. Like, what's the worst that can happen? They bust and we don't win a Super Bowl. We've been there. But what happens when you win? See, that's the thing that I've learned about gambling, is that you can't keep losing. Don't take that advice ever. Ever. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell at the NCAA Tournament watching their respective alma maters. Oh, by the way, I mean, Kevin O'Connell, he's 6'5", so I'm sure he balled back in the day. Kwesi was on the Princeton basketball team, or he walked on. So, I mean, basketball's got to be in the hot. So I'm sure that these guys were certainly getting into it. It's awesome, man. Anyways, let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.